Welcome to Episode 14, Access Control, Part 2, Implementation Patterns and Guardrails. Having explored principles and outcomes, we now shift to how access control takes shape in real systems. Implementation is where policy becomes code, workflow, and habit. The right patterns make daily operations predictable, secure, and efficient. Access is not granted ad hoc. It is modeled, reviewed, and maintained through consistent frameworks. The objective is to select a model that matches the organization's complexity, adopt repeatable workflows, and apply guardrails that prevent privilege from drifting over time. When built thoughtfully, these mechanisms make secure behavior the default rather than an afterthought. Building on that, every program begins by selecting a control model that fits its environment. A control model defines how decisions about access are made and enforced. Some organizations rely on centralized identity providers, while others distribute decision-making across applications. The chosen model must balance flexibility with control. For small teams, a single repository of roles may suffice. For larger enterprises, layered systems with automation are essential. Before adopting technology, map how data and users actually flow. The model should mirror that reality, not fight it. The best designs reduce manual exceptions because they align naturally with the organization's structure. One of the most common models is role-based access control, often abbreviated as RBAC. In this approach, permissions are grouped into roles that match job functions, like system administrator, auditor, or customer support. Users inherit permissions by joining those roles, which simplifies administration and supports least privilege through structured design. Imagine a new hire entering the finance department. Assigning them to the finance analyst role automatically grants only the necessary access. The challenge is keeping roles current as duties evolve. Periodic review ensures that convenience never replaces precision. RBAC remains powerful because it turns complexity into understandable building blocks. Where flexibility is needed, attribute-based access control, or ABAC, offers finer granularity. Instead of static roles, it uses attributes such as department, project, location, or device type to decide access dynamically. For instance, a user may view records tagged to their project but not others, or access may differ when connecting from a managed laptop versus a personal device. ABAC adapts to modern, cloud-based environments where identities and data constantly move. It requires careful planning because too many attributes or rules can become hard to manage. The strength of ABAC lies in context sensitivity. It answers not just who, but when and from where. Whichever model is used, maintaining an entitlements catalog with clear naming standards anchors consistency. An entitlement is a discrete permission like read reports or modify invoices. Cataloging these across systems prevents duplication and confusion. Each entitlement should have a unique, descriptive name that reveals its purpose without guesswork. A well-organized catalog makes audit smoother because every permission is traceable to a function and owner. It also allows automation to operate cleanly. Scripts can assign or revoke entitlements based on definitive identifiers. Without a catalog, organizations often find invisible overlap, different names for the same right, or identical names with different scopes. Clarity here prevents chaos later. From that foundation, design a consistent workflow for access requests, approvals, and fulfillment. A request begins when a user identifies a need. An approval confirms business justification, and fulfillment executes the change while capturing evidence. Automation can enforce required approvals and generate logs automatically. This workflow should include verification steps to ensure requests match actual roles or attributes, avoiding over-entitlement. Imagine an employee requesting access to an application. The system routes it to the data owner, the owner approves, and provisioning occurs instantly through an identity platform. The process is faster and safer because rules replace judgment calls. Integration with Single Sign-On, or SSO, ensures users authenticate once and access multiple applications securely. SSO reduces password fatigue and centralizes policy enforcement. When combined with modern protocols such as Security Assertion Markup Language or OpenID Connect, it allows consistent session control and simplified account management. Mapping roles or attributes from the identity provider into applications avoids redundant configurations. For example, when an employee changes departments, their SSO profile updates roles across all connected systems automatically. SSO is both a user experience improvement and a governance mechanism. It keeps authentication uniform and measurable. Privileged Access Management, or PAM, extends control by isolating high-level accounts and storing their credentials in secure vaults. Instead of giving administrators direct passwords, PAM systems issue temporary sessions that record every action. These tools enforce least privilege, time limits, and full audit trails. A mature program treats privileged accounts as shared assets, never as personal property. Vaulting credentials and requiring checkout procedures may feel slower, but it eliminates uncontrolled access that often leads to breaches. In essence, PAM ensures that power always leaves footprints and expires when no longer needed. Alongside PAM, break glass accounts provide emergency access under strict guardrails. These accounts exist for scenarios like outages, lockouts, or identity provider failures where normal access cannot function. They must remain disabled until needed and require multi-party approval to activate. Every use should trigger alerts and post-incident reviews. The name break glass captures the idea. Use only in emergency, document immediately afterward. Without such accounts, recovery from authentication failures can stall critical operations. With them, programs stay resilient without sacrificing accountability. The guardrails make safety and flexibility coexist. Session management, timeouts, and reauthentication rules maintain continuous protection after access begins. Idle sessions should expire. Users performing sensitive actions should reauthenticate, and tokens should rotate on schedule. These patterns reduce the risk of hijacked sessions and abandoned logins left open on shared devices. For instance, an administrator portal might require reauthentication every hour or upon privilege escalation. Balancing security with usability means tuning durations based on risk, shorter for privileged operations, longer for routine work. Session discipline ensures that authentication remains fresh and access remains deserved throughout its lifespan. Remote access, virtual private networks, and single sign-on integration extend identity assurance beyond office walls. Every remote connection should use encrypted channels and inherit central authentication policies. Whether through a virtual private network, a zero-trust access gateway, or federated identity links, the principle stays the same. Verify before trust, monitor during, and revoke when done. Remote work expands exposure, but also highlights the value of unified identity. A remote session protected by MFA, monitored through SSO, and restricted by least privilege mirrors internal control quality anywhere in the world. Service accounts, keys, and secrets require the same rigor as human identities. These non-interactive credentials often run unattended tasks, and because they never complain, they are easy to forget. Rotate keys regularly, store them in managed vaults, and eliminate hard-coded credentials from scripts and source code. Assign ownership for every service identity so someone remains accountable for its lifecycle. Modern tools can discover and rotate secrets automatically, reducing risk without manual tracking. When automation is secure, it amplifies trust instead of undermining it. Treat every key as a crown jewel, because in practice, it often is. Finally, periodic reattestation and cleanup jobs close the loop. At least quarterly, system owners should review access lists, confirm that privileges still match roles, and remove unused accounts. Automated tools can flag inactivity or stale memberships, but human oversight ensures context. Cleanup is not glamorous, yet it prevents the slow decay that turns mature systems into liabilities. Over time, reattestation builds confidence that access maps to real needs and that evidence remains fresh. Routine pruning keeps the garden healthy. Neglect lets weeds overtake the path. In closing, patterns documented and enforced transform access control from policy to practice. Whether using RBAC, ABAC, or a hybrid, the key is consistency, visibility, and measured discipline. Each mechanism, approval workflow, MFA, PAM, and reattestation works together to form a living system of trust. When these guardrails are maintained, access control becomes not just a security measure, but a predictable rhythm that supports business agility. Documentation cements the pattern, automation sustains it, and governance ensures it never drifts. That is how effective access control endures. Firm in principle, flexible in operation, and proven through evidence every day. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.